building. High priestess in the building, didn't let my fears kill me. Transmuted my pain in that cleanse in the rain. Down out, I was working and I conquered my demons. I accepted my purpose and the goddess I became.
But you still have to be so careful, because I have to constantly remind myself, like, remember, you're still healing, because there's certain things that still triggers me. So once again, I've learned, if I put too much into somebody's spirit, is most likely going to take it away. That's just me. I've learned, and it just is what it is. And I had a guy where I really liked them, but like I said, I started seeing signs real fast. I said, oh yeah, I can't do this. I can't. So my biggest advice in the dating world is date. Don't you be stuck with one person. Have you a Jim, James, and John. Like, and whoever, and be honest. Like, because you have to date. You have to, it's me relearning what I like. I don't even know what I like. Like, I don't know. Do I like them? Do I like them tall? Do I like them? Like, you don't know. And then you end up realizing, like, even that surface stuff don't matter. Like, you reach people deeper. And I found myself like, oh, he was never been my type, but his spirit, his soul, like, oh, that's
right. I think dating is about that, giving people chances that you probably normally wouldn't have even dated. You wouldn't have even had that chemistry. Some of the main conversations I have with women is because they're so closed off to dating. It's like you just want to jump into love. You want to jump into marriage. And I understand that, because I'm a wife at heart. I'm gonna take care of my man. If I'm into you and I love you, I want to make sure you fed. I want to make sure that you right, you know. I want to make sure that you're good, your mental status, all of that. So I get that concept of like, yeah, I'm a wife and I want that. But there's also things that you can learn about dating, you know, and you can have fun on dating. Go and date. And a lot of women are so closed off to dating. It's like they just want that next person. I'm like, that's not the way. In this day and age, you have to be able to date, because people are not just ready for marriage. They're not just running off with you. There's just way too much social media and all this other craziness. You actually need to get to know people. You need to spend that time.
I'd be like, see, I need to know you for 4 seasons. And they be like, what? Like I give every guy the same spiel. I tell them I don't deal with possession. I said I came from a very possessive relationship, and I didn't realize I was in a possessive relationship. So I don't deal with possession. So if you think I'm your property, it's not going to work.
Right.
It's not going to work. Second off, I'm dating. So I'm dating. That means I might go on a date with you today, and you might see me today tomorrow. Like, and it's not me trying to be funny, but it's me being honest. I'm dating.
Right.
And then thirdly, I tell them, and I encourage you to too. Like, date.
Right. Because dating doesn't mean exclusive.
No.
Dating means I am put myself on the market and I'm looking at my options. Now, if you start dating someone and you guys say, okay, we want to be exclusive, that's something that's different. But I end up having to explain this to people, like, dating does not mean this person is yours. Dating does not mean that all of a sudden you're the only one. Someone who's dating is actively dating. You need to walk in like, this person probably got 5 people in their phone right now, you know, talking to them. Okay. And you can't think you're the only one in this person's phone in the beginning. And it's like crazy to me how many people don't get this. It's like if dating is just, oh, we meet and now we're going to run off into the sunset. Wait, what? You don't even know this person.
And on top of that, like, I don't care what he says. Like, if they're dating too. They just don't know how to be sometimes they don't know how to be as honest.
They don't know how to be honest.
I've literally probably only came across 2 guys who were able to be honest about them dating. Like,
right.
What I'm doing. Most guys, they go around circles about it. Like, well, I talk to girls, but you know, like, I'm interested. Like, so you don't got to run game on me, because baby, I'm the game. So if
so you're not talking to anyone that you're really interested in, is what you're telling me.
Yeah, like, can you be clear, sir? I'd be like, can you be clear? It's been fun.
You say, are you single? They're like, yeah, because none of the people you talk to, you're claiming. Okay, but are you fucking anybody? You know, you got to ask some questions.
You got to
have sex with anybody? How long ago? And people lie.
They lie. So that's why don't even put yourself in them positions half the time. Get to know everything you need to know. Definitely in 4 seasons. Half of them take it out of 2 weeks. So
nope. Nope. And I'm like, the ones that are patient, give them a chance, because
Mhm.
if someone is like pressuring and pushing, and of course we know sex is sex. Sex doesn't last. So if you let sex be the option, that's might what you will end up being, is that sex option for that person. You can't get mad at that either. It's kind of like dating is dating, but you got to flow with it. But I think you can have a lot of fun
Yeah. I've
dating.
had,
Like, I've had a lot of fun dating, then I'll stop. Like I stopped this past couple years to just do some healing.
yeah.
I realized I have a broken heart, and the last person just added to that broken heart. So especially this past year, I just been taking to really get into my heart space, because I'm a lover. I'm
Mhm.
someone who loves. I love deeply.
Yeah.
And so when you know that, when you do have a broken heart, it's probably not best for you to be out there trying to date, or especially fall in love. At least don't be out there
Oh,
trying to run off into the sunset, because it's not gonna work.
almost
You're gonna
got caught, and I was like, "Shoot, girl, bye! Don't you do that? Don't do that."
I do plan to get back out in the dating scene next year, though. Next year I plan to get back out, because I feel like I will have gone through the things that I need to do to get my heart space back together, because it's rough.
It is.
Love can be hurtful. Love can be harsh. And sometimes people don't love you in the way that you love them. Love is so different. It's not I don't think there's no one way to love. People all have their love language, and some people just don't know how to love, and it sucks. It
They don't.
can suck.
And they can think they know how to love, but they don't. And it hurts. So
Oh,
like you got to be careful with your heart space because, like I said,
yeah.
I almost fell too fast, but then I thankfully I'm just so aware of what journey I'm on that I just was like,
Right.
you got to let
Right.
that go. Like even if
Yeah.
it sounds and then pay attention to how when you decide to let people go, how they treat you, the things they say to you. When you
Yeah.
do this honest and be like, well, I decide not to do this. The things they say to you, like,
Yep.
to call selfish, like just because I chose to be like, I'm not worth that. Like,
Right.
like you have to watch the things people say to you, the things people do to you. Like, yeah, the sex might, and then you got to be careful because, like she just said, like you might be sexing, but you got to remember, like, that's might be how y'all started. Like we grown,
Right.
like people do shit. So you might just be sexing, and that just might be that. If you
Right.
didn't want a sexing type of relationship, you need to make that man take you on a date first and date you the way that you want to be dated. If you know
Right.
that that putting yourself in that position is what's going to take you to this other level of feeling like you're entitled to that person. Because
Because lust and
yeah,
love are two different
much,
things. And
much.
men can have sex without feelings. You women, we at this point in 2023, we should all understand this. Men can have sex with no fucking feelings at all. They can have sex with you and they don't even like your ass. Okay.
No, for
Women,
real.
we do things differently than men, and we have got to understand this when you are dating. So I did get like really I've been very protective of my heart, probably overly guarded in this life. And then now I understand that more of needing to make sure that I am very cautious of who I allow in my heart space. Of course, shit changes and you never know what's going to happen. But in the beginning, especially, that's where you have that. Is this person really worth letting them into my space? I see a lot of people who just want to be in love, and I get it because it feels so good to be in those emotions. But in those little temporary emotions doesn't mean that it's going to last. Have
That.
some honest conversations with people. Ask them about their political party and ask them how, they would raise their children, because chances if you could have a kid by this person, there's
You're
you
sexing.
you
Exactly.
know you're opening up some doors. Ask them how their relationship to their parents. I'm sorry, if I meet a man that has mother issues, we're not dating. I'm sorry, we're not dating on a serious level, because I am not about to help you heal your mother issues.
And
you
don't
know
fool yourself and say that don't matter because it matters. My ex had horror.
yes,
They have a yeah. The
it
balance thing,
matters.
it's not healthy.
Yeah.
So
Some men who abuse women have anger towards their mother. In a
mhm,
conversation, you can get that all in a conversation. And the thing about it is, and I'm a healer. And so I understand now, looking at my path, that there was a lot of people who came into my life that weren't coming, that I shouldn't have dated. They weren't coming to me for those reasons. They actually were coming to my life because they needed help. And if I would have known that about myself, if I had, had just had a little bit more experience, I wouldn't have dated them and let them into my bed or let them into my heart space in that way. I'd have just helped them what I was supposed to be doing, right? And then
Whew,
they would have
that's,
been able to carry on on their journey. But you
yes.
don't realize that, and I have to tell a lot of people sometimes, is you're a healer, you're going to have a lot of broken people, men and women, come to you.
Whew.
You have to discern who this person is for you.
Man, I'm telling you, I like, and this kind of personal, but like that is so like on point, because the guy, I was having sex with him, and
Mhm.
it was times where I would have sex with him and I would notice like my body, like I'd be like, dang, why do I got lower back pain, or why
Right.
I was, and I even told him once upon a time, and I had came up with this while I was talking to him. I said, I just realized that, like, I'm placed in some people's life for reasons, for seasons. Like, and I told him, and he used to think it was so funny, but I'd be like, call me a male companion. I said, because sometimes I'm not really here for like all the other stuff. I'm just here to just be that person in the space with you. And I said, I told him, like, and I've accepted that. Like, it sounds crazy to some people. If I say it to some people, they'd be looking at me like, what? And I'm like, no, I just
Right.
what I am, and it's okay. Like, for right
Right.
now, this is my life. Like, I'm placed around some people and I'm just there to just, we just talking, we just birthing new things out of ourselves.
Mhm.
And like I said, some of the relationships you build, and when you learn to take that, oh, I want this person, and oh, I want, and put that friendship on it, like, you can meet some amazing people. Like, for instance, me and my partner with Poetic Erotica, Jay, like, I'm pretty sure we both, when we first started, we was thinking like, but
Right.
we switching, the dynamic switched really fast to a business type of relationship. And it was
Right.
like, I'm glad we didn't like, woo, push
Right.
into, ooh, let's be this and that. And I didn't catch these feelings like, who you talking, it would
Right.
have been something that is like, that is growing so big already that
Mhm.
we haven't even had the first thing. We would have ruined a whole situation that was meant to be, but not
Right.
in thought it was meant to be.
Right. I have a friend like that where I actually still know him to this day. I met him like 5 years ago. And when we met on a dating site. But in the conversation, we both had this love for writing. And so before we even let it get anywhere, like we really didn't do anything. We didn't do anything sexual. So we decided to write together. And that was one of the best choices that we did. I have an unpublished book that we wrote together. It still needs some finishing touches. I'm going to do it, but it's just one of those things. Like, again, if you start to get into this place to understand, you'll start to see why someone's coming into your life. It's not necessarily the romanticism or
Yeah.
that you're supposed to hook up with this person. I mean, yeah, we had that first initial like, oh, but then when we talked, it
Yeah.
was like, oh shit, there's this whole other level of why we're being, put into our lives. And he had horrible anger issues with women. And then when he met me, I was still like, fuck men. You know what I mean? When he met me, I was still like, I don't need a man for shit. Like, that was my mindset. And I was like that for a long time because, again, I had a lot of anger in my heart, especially because of the way my baby daddy and the way he didn't show up for my daughter, and there was a lot of anger there. My own father, of him not being there, so there was a lot of daddy issues on my side, and I hadn't healed at that point. So if we would have got together, that shit would have tragically fucking crashed and burned, because one, he probably would have put his hands on me, and that would have been the end, because I'm just not that woman. I don't have that, like, that the that seeing people fight and stuff, I don't have it in me just to sit back, and just like take it. There's something in me because I saw my dad, put hands on my mom. I saw my mom put hands on my dad. I grew up in a very violent home. So I can't take that stuff. That stuff, it does something to me. And so whenever I would meet a guy that would show that aggression, I would leave him. I would stop talking to him. Cold turkey. I would be like, oh yeah, no, we're not doing this because I can't take that. So meeting him, that was just like, it was the best decision we did, to just be friends and help each other, right. And we're still friends to this day. And that's the point I tell people, like, you sometimes like you weren't supposed to date this person. This person was meant to come into your life, but we have this societal thing that says, oh, you meet this person, you're attracted, be with them. But spirit is like, no, I didn't guide them to you for that reason. That's why you see somebody then afterwards go and marry the next person. They weren't for you. And people are so mad, like, oh, I put all this time and effort into the person. Well, that's what you were supposed to do.
And if you would be wise and take your lessons and your blessings versus trying to take a L, then you would get to the next level too.
Right. You would see why. Because I've seen that. And and I would see that, like, somebody I had a dude one time. I mean, I'm pretty sure there's multiple dudes that I, dated and they went off, but there was one particular one that was like right after me and him fucking around. He like had this girl and she was, putting her all on social media. He was all in love. And it was just like, damn, like what the fuck, like, and I had to, and it hit me and it hit my ego. It didn't hit
Yeah.
nothing but my ego. It was all my ego that was hurt, even though he
Mhm.
was a piece of shit. Like, why did I really give a fuck?
Girl,
He did drugs. It was just like, why did I really care? What was the real point? But it bruised my ego to think that somebody wouldn't want me. You know what I mean? Like, it bruised my ego. And that's what we have to take that step back and know, what's your ego? Because a lot of us women are sitting in shitty ass situations because of our ego. We don't want to feel like we lost. We don't want to feel like, we got to feel, we talk about men. We talk about men and their ego, but we do the same shit as
because
women.
literally, because what I have learned too is a lot of times the men, like you said, they do stuff emotionless. So they've been and walked away. A lot of us women, we tend to reach back out, like, "How you doing?" Like I'm
Mhm.
telling you, every time, give it 30 days. I'm look, 30 days is my magic
Right.
number. Like,
Like,
30
we've
because
all asked that question. Women will say, like, well, why does he keep coming back? Because you let him.
you let them.
That's
And
why. You think he loves you more because he keep coming back?
and half the time, sometimes they don't be coming back. We be going to get them, and we just don't want to be honest with ourselves.
Right. Because you didn't text him, and now he's like, oh, I got a window of opportunity. Let me slide back. Let me slide back in.
Now you feeding his ego. Now you got him all pumped up over there.
But then us, we feed our ego, like, see, he back though. That's your ego. That's
Girl,
your
it's like he really not. You went and got him, sis.
It's like, just take it, because take it and move on. But we as women have to check our own egos too.
Dude,
We got to look in the mirror and ask ourselves, because again, some people coming into your life, it's not for you to screw and be with. They're coming to you because for whatever purpose that is, but we don't discern that. We just automatically we're attracted, let's be with this person, and then it doesn't work anyway. It's just like, that's
mm,
not what you were supposed to come into my life for. And I think once we do the whole sex and emotions, we fuck shit up. Once
yeah.
you add all that, now you didn't added these layers of shit that it's just like,
Cause don't let it be good. You really messed up.
we women know
Yeah,
if
we
that
know we.
D, if that
It,
D is too good.
yeah, and a lot of the times it's just being honest with ourselves. Like I find
Right,
myself like I literally be having like I said, I've stopped the point where I don't really reach to people for answers as much anymore. And
right,
of course, I like socializing, so of course I'm very transparent. I always talk to people about myself, but I've learned to get an answer within myself first.
right.
I be having to be real hard on myself. Like I literally be hard on myself. Like hard on myself. Like talk to myself like, girl, you know better. Like
Hmm.
I check myself before I check
Right,
any else, anything or anybody. Even when it comes to my kids and handling stuff. Because sometimes I notice like if I'm fussing, it's really a deeper root because it ain't really what they just did. It's really
right,
so literally I find
right,
myself so much self-evaluation where I'm in my room like literally if I'm in there crying and hyperventilating, I'm in there like get through your thoughts, Kadija, because it's
right.
just all the process and the journey, and you just have to be willing to go through it, to take it, to accept it,
Yeah,
because we don't want to accept our shit, and
right.
like we not perfect, just like them people who hurt you ain't perfect. You not perfect, so
Right, right. You know what? It's crazy because on this path, I think that's something that you eventually get to, because I don't call people for romantic advice. I don't, I have really close people. I have a best friend. I don't call nobody like, hey girl, what you think? No.
We
And
all
I
got
think the worst thing you can do is call people and add them to your relationship. They're going to be biased. They're
different.
going to be biased. No matter how much they like the person you're dating, they will be biased. And it definitely, if you talking to someone who's hurt, because I look back on me as a hurt woman and I was like, man, I used to give some horrible advice.
Man, what?
All
Y'all know
my advice was the second you start complaining, leave that motherfucker. Like that was my
I tell
advice.
right now. I say don't ask me for relationship advice. I said anything you ask me is gonna be leave. I said
Right.
you can't leave. I said leave, leave. Don't ask Kadija nothing. All Kadija got is leave. So I'm not reliable for that.
Yep.
I said the
Yep.
place I'm in, I cannot give nobody no relationship advice. I stand on that. I can't. Cause
Yeah.
my you don't feel good in there? Leave.
Right. That's what I used to be like. Why the fuck you still there? Leave. You unhappy? Leave. They ain't treating you right? Leave. And it didn't
Leave.
matter who you were, male or female. I'd be like, leave.
Leave.
And then I realized that, that was horrible advice because
Man,
again, everybody's situation is so different. So sitting in my path now, being the spiritual advisor in the guide, it's like now it's more of coaching. Like, did you go through the steps? Do you guys go through the steps? Is this person abusive? Is this person, there's a lot of questions that go into a session with the person that made me realize just how different everybody's life is. And you just can't just be, everybody can't just believe because it's not, then sometimes you're just running from shit. But
no.
when it comes to like personal people I know, I'm not answering questions for them. It's like I'm not the person to call. I'm still not the person to call because I'm someone who wants to give you solutions. So it's just like, I'm going to try to give you solutions to your problem. I'm not the person who wants to hear about your shit. You're not calling me about your baby daddy every day. You're not calling me every week about the same shit. I don't want to hear that shit. You want a solution to your problem? I can help you find that. Other than that, I'm like, call somebody else. Call
Please.
somebody else.
I'm telling you, I go dead silent. Like right now, I'm just a listening post because I'd be like, man, that's messed up. Yeah, you really should think about evaluating. Mhm.
I can't have those conversations.
I have nothing because I've learned that that's really something for you. Whatever y'all going through in y'all relationship, that's really for y'all to
Right.
figure. It's for
Right.
you to decide if you need to leave because guess what? I'm not there dealing with that mess. You dealing with that mess. You know how it feels. Because I might be from the outside looking into your relationship like y'all look pretty happy to me. You know what I
Right.
mean? I'm like, oh, it look
Right.
better than going through. Oh, at least y'all got a big nice house. He pay your bills. I don't even
Right.
know that. Oh, he over there doing this and this and that. You know what I mean? So
Uh-huh.
people don't tell you everything. They tell it be a one-sided story.
Yep.
So don't ask Kadija. Don't ask Kadija. Don't ask her.
It is. It is. They don't tell you everything. And a lot of people don't tell you what they've done in a situation. There's
No.
always the other person. The other person is always the piece of shit, but then they're all, but then you see, because I see it. I see clients all the time that, and then it's like constant shit talking. And then you see the love of my life. And I'm so happy post on their post. And I just be like, y'all do you. Like, if it wasn't for me doing this for a living, I don't have these conversations with people I know. Because even like with my kids, if you're wrong, you're wrong. You're not going to come to me and complain, and then expect me to be on your side. So if you come and complain and tell me some shit, I'm be like, you know what, you were wrong for that. And
Mhm.
I had to tell my kids that a lot of times, like, that's not how it works. Like, I'm not just gonna jump on your side. You're not just always right. No,
No,
you're a fucking asshole. Maybe you need to go and apologize in your damn situation.
because sometimes I'll be like, I am not right. That's how I be knowing. I'll be like, ooh, I still need to be healed. Because I be like,
Yeah.
God, you should not be reacting
You
to a situation
start
like
to realize, like, yeah, I'm not in the last 5 years, I've really only messed with one person, really only one. There's been like a few like convos, but only one. And it made me realize just still how hurt I was and how much triggers I still had. And it made me realize, like, fuck, I don't want to, grow old and be in this fucking bitter ass energy, calling in
that.
the same type of guy. It's just like, it can't be that this is the only men available out. You know what I mean? It can't be.
It's what we attracting, and it's just you gotta put yourself on a different way. Like it's no other way but to put
People don't
yourself.
realize when you say you attract what you are, and some people are like, well, I'm not a cheater. I'm not this. And I'm like, that's not what that means. It means you're going to attract what's in your heart space. So if you feel like you can't trust yourself, you will get untrustworthy people. If you are mad at yourself, like you hate yourself on some levels, you will get distant people. They're not representing your true character because you haven't even found your true character. And one of the biggest things is self-trust. We lose self-trust every time we let somebody cheat on us, every time we let someone beat on us, every time we let someone back into our life that tore us down. We then lose trust for self every time we do that. And people don't realize that. So it's like your heart space with all that pain and trauma and shit is calling in whoever you call in romantically. So if you notice there's a repeated pattern with the people coming towards you, you're going to be like, wait a minute. What's really going on here? What's really the problem here? What am I, what's the common denominator? And you will always be the common denominator to everything coming at you from your soul level. And it's hard to, you'll always be the common denominator in every situation. And I would always bring very distant men. And then I realized my dad was a very distant man. They're the daddy issues. My dad wasn't someone who knew how to show his love. He wasn't someone who expressed his love. Literally, damn near every man that I've messed with has been someone that is someone who cannot, show those emotions, who cannot express themselves in that way. So you start to look at your lives and take that step back and go, oh shit, damn, I'm dating this way. Or your heart's been broken, most likely you're going to call in people who are not open for love because you're not truly open for love. You're deathly scared. You're
Yes,
traumatized, you
exactly.
know?
And then you got to be careful because then you can end up pushing out. That's why you got to heal your heart space because the
Yeah.
people who come into your life really that's good for your heart space, you tend to push them out because they are
Yeah.
able to give you this raw and uncutness that you
Yeah.
ain't ready for. And if you don't put ego down,
Yeah.
they have been in, you'd have been and thought they trying to ruin you, but really they trying to help you and you end up missing out on a good
Mhm.
thing because you not healed. So
Yep.
that's why it's important to be healed because some of these men will come and they got their stuff together, but
And
we
they
don't
see it.
heal. And they'll be
Right.
like stuff and you can talk to them about everything and they can give you what you need to hear and it don't hurt. It hurt. I mean, it hurt. It don't be feeling good. It be hurting and you be like, why would he say that to me? But
Right.
because he's in that place that you need to be, but you're not
Right.
ready.
Right.
So there's so many levels to it because
I've seen it. I think I had this one particular dude I remember, and he said something like that to me. And I was like, the fuck you mean? You know what I mean? But a man who is truly healed and ready to love can spot a damaged woman from a
yeah,
mile away. We don't know it because we're still in the energy of being damaged. So you're still operating from that space, and you can miss a good man because
yeah.
you are still in this very hurt place playing games. It's the same thing. We talk shit about the other side, but we're still playing those same games.
Yeah.
And then when you get someone who's decent and isn't full of those games, you start fucking playing them. You start doing dumb shit. You start not calling or not answering your phone or catching the attitude on dumb shit, or it's just the level of it. Like I said, this past couple years for me, I've no, I need to heal. I need to heal and grow because I want real love. I want something that's strong and it's beautiful. I don't want something that's games and bullshit and arguing. Like, who the fuck want to be arguing? Like,
Because my house is so peaceful. Like my kids will even tell you, like, the only yelling that be going on is some kids in my house. We don't wake up to yelling. We ain't got nobody fussing and screaming at us.
right,
Nobody waking up angry,
right,
just mad at the world just because you in
right,
the world. Like
right.
telling you, peace is something you can't like you. It's something you just can't replace.
Once you get there, it's hard to come back. And I remember I started to say that to guys like, you're not in competition with other guys, you're in competition with my peace.
Yeah.
Because I'm gonna look at you and I'm gonna look at my piece because I've been a single woman for a long time. And if you look like you ain't coming with the same kind of piece that I already got, like if
Yeah.
you starting to get on my nerves, if you calling my phone way too many times, if you asking me where I'm at and I just told you I was in the store, it's a no. It's a no for me.
Don't even live by. Like what?
I remember in 2019, this one guy I had tried to date. And it was like for a month. I think it was like 30 days, girl. I think it was like about 30 days. I think it was for about 30 days, if I'm not mistaken. But I remember him just constantly in my phone calling me. And I was like, okay, I'm not that girl. I'm not that girl who wants her man. Like, if we just talked and and then you're calling me again, you're calling me again, you're calling me again, you wanting to be on the phone with me while I'm driving home from work. And I used to work in a medical office. So I was constantly on the phone. And I'm like, look, I'm constantly on the phone. I don't want to be on the phone again. And people will mistake that. Like, I'm not the person who wants to talk 20 million hours. Like, I'm more of a, like, let's chill, silent, let's be with each other and have that space. But I don't want to be yap on the phone with you all the time and all day. I don't know why people do that. But anywho, so it was like constantly calling. And then like I would, go see him or whatever. And then it was just like, oh, I got this other room and you could come set up and do your tarot there. And it was just like, what? I got my own place. Like, I'm not just gonna come and like move in with you. Like, what's wrong with you?
Wrong with you?
So I think you just gotta kind of like, my thing is like, look, if you are gonna take away my peace and if you're gonna be up my ass, then we're not gonna make it.
Not gonna make it. And just like, and when people tell you stuff, listen to it. Like, even I think of like little things,
Right,
like tell me like, yeah, I'll ask them about their past relationships, when I'm like, oh, all your past relationships, you moved in with them.
right,
Hmm.
right, right.
Let's, or you
Exactly.
live with them, or you live at home. Oh, you had a place, but then you lose them. Like, so, why? Like, you got to really like evaluate stuff and set back. Like,
Right.
and I be telling myself like, geez, why are you like this? But it's to protect yourself. It really
It's
is.
true. You got to ask questions. Because if you were talking to someone and they're like, every ex was a bitch,
Mm-hmm.
every ex was
Every,
crazy,
every,
every ex tried to, like, get pregnant, you know what I mean? You got
every.
multiple baby mamas. And the thing, one of the things that I do, um, look at women, and I will say this, and a lot of women gonna hear this and get mad, and I don't give a fuck. But when you're dating a man who don't take care of his kids, you foul as fuck for dating this man. I don't think any man that doesn't take care of their kids should have any woman that looks at them as an opportunity or an availability. Because if he don't take care of his kids, how the fuck he gonna take care of yours?
Why
You
is he
know,
taking you or yours? Why?
that part. Because the second y'all break up, you think this motherfucker gonna be stepdaddy tomorrow?
And that was another hard ass pill I had to swallow from
Mhm,
my marriage,
mhm.
because I forced him to be a father with his children.
Yeah,
I made it a point. Like, you call the kids, you checked on them when
right.
they, like, I made it a point.
Yeah,
So when some things happened when I left, my sister even said like, "Why are you so surprised?" And
right.
it hurt to hear it, but it
Yeah,
was like, yeah, right, sis. Why are you so surprised? You
right,
forced him to be. You know what I mean? He might
right,
not look at that, but look at what you're going through now. You've been
right.
gone, and the man, he don't even want to stop by your house because of his ego, and he mad. So
It's true. It's patterns. It's patterns. My daughter father was the same. He had a son that was older than my daughter, and I used to be on his ass all the time. Go get him, go pick him up, and blah blah blah. And then when it was all said and done, when he wasn't a father, it was just like I was so pissed off because I was like, "You promised you would be there for her," but it was like, why am I surprised?
I'm not surprised.
Why am I surprised? When I met him, he was playing daddy with somebody. You know what I mean? Like, it was just like, ding ding ding, this is a pattern with this person.
It's
Why
like
did I think it was going to be different with my daughter?
my sister be like, "Why are you so surprised?" And it hit my every time it hit my feelings. Like,
Because our ego, right, we talk about women's ego, says, oh, I'm different. You
no, baby,
I'm different, my kid is different. No,
nah.
No, it isn't. Men show you, and that's the kind of conversations you need.
I accepted my purpose and the goddess I became.